Hakeem, we're live.
Thank you. Sergeant, would you begin your recording?
PC started.
Backup is rolling.
The cloud is up. Sergeant, will you begin the opening?
Thank you. Good morning and welcome to the remote hearing on governmental operations. Will council members and staff please turn on their video at this time? Thank you. To minimize disruptions, please place all cell phones and electronics to vibrate. Chair, we are ready to begin.
Thank you so much. Good morning. I'm Councilmember Fernando Cabrera, Chair to the Committee on Governmental Operation. I want to recognize that we have been joined by Council members Dharma Diaz, Powers, Kalos, myself, Rodriguez, Yeager, Levin. Did I miss anybody? Okay, great. Today, the committee will vote on proposed introduction 2118A, sponsored by my colleague, Councilmember Powers. The bill will transfer the authority to issue press credentials from the police department to the mayor's office of media and entertainment. These credentials allow journalists to cross police and fire lines and attend city-sponsored events that are open to the press, subject to safety concern, the preservation of evidence, and space limitation. Before we hear from Councilmember Powell's statement on his bill, I want to thank our committee staff, CJ Mary, Emily Forjon, Elizabeth Cronk, Sebastian Bocci, as well as my legislator and communications director, Claire McLevain, for their work. I will now turn it over to Councilmember Powers to say a few words.
Thank you, Chair Cabrera, and good morning, everyone. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to say a few words today. I'm Councilmember Powers. We'll be voting today on my bill to move press credentials to the Mayor's Office of Media Entertainment from the NYPD. And just a few words before that. As we know, and as we all talk about often, freedom of the press is one of our city's greatest protections. And to me, any press credential that's issued by the city of New York, one of the largest media markets, should be easy to access, easy to qualify, and should be qualify for, and free of any considerations that go beyond protecting the press. This legislation came out because it became increasingly clear that members of the media must be able to report on stories without any concern that their coverage will result in losing a press pass or not being able to obtain one at all. We've also, of course, seen the rise of new media, that online media and others, that also requires a change in how we view media and how we issue press passes. One way to ensure that press coverage is not impacted by an agency so heavily covered by the media is to remove that agency from the process altogether. My bill, Intro 2118, will give the Mayor's Office of Media Entertainment the sole authority to issue, suspend, and revoke press credentials. My legislation ensures that we have a process for distributing press credentials that is fair, equitable, and accessible, creating a balanced system here that protects our free press. The diversity and emergence of new press outlets required a reconsideration of this entire process, including who issues press credentials, which has been in place for decades, and now to provide easy flexibility for agencies to update their standards over time. At last month's hearing, we heard from a wide range of stakeholders about this legislation. And I want to thank all those who came to testify for their thoughtful feedback. And I want to thank all my colleagues for their engagement. That feedback helped inform additional improvements to my legislation. In particular, the legislation now requires an oath hearing before any press credential can be seized, suspended, or revoked, something I believe the press community has been receptive to and provides them an extra guarantee that they will have the freedom of the press here. Members of the press will also have the right to an oath hearing to challenge the denial of a press credential if their application is not approved. And of course, as we discussed, there's no background check for an application for a press credential as part of this legislation. These improvements to legislation further strengthen protections for the members of the press. And I want to thank thanks to my colleagues for their support and all the staff, including Sarah Newman in my office, for working on this bill. With that, I urge all my colleagues to vote aye on the bill today. Thanks so much.
Thank you. And now I will turn it over to the clerk to call the roll.
Good morning, William Martin, Committee Clerk. Roll call vote, Committee on Governmental Operations. Proposed introduction number 2118-A. Chair Cabrera.
I will be voting no. It's been a difficult been mulling over this bill for days. I am concerned about the 1.3 plus million dollars that we're spending in light of the fact that we're cutting union jobs 3 to 1 throughout the city. Second reason, I am concerned about the clear and convincing standard that we're using in this bill. Instead of preponderance of the evidence, OPE has used preponderance of evidence for the last 42 years, literally for every case. And I'm afraid we're going to be open to lawsuits and costing a tremendous amount of money. Last of all, in the hearing that we had, many of the Association of the Press were very concerned about this bill. I know the sponsor of the bill has tremendous great intentions, and I commend them for that. But at this moment, I'll be voting no.
Rodriguez.
I vote aye.
Thank you. Levin.
Aye.
Kalos.
Aye.
Mizell.
Yes.
Powers.
Aye.
Yeager.
Mr. Chairman, may I be excused to briefly explain my vote?
Yes.
Thank you. For the reasons that the chair stated and many, many more, I'm going to vote no today. But I want to be clear. I love the sponsor of this bill. He's my friend. He's a good man. He's a good council member. But I am struggling to find even a single good reason for this bill here. I said at the hearings that this is a solution in search of a problem. Neither the press was advocating for it, the administration was not advocating for it, and this comes from an environment of a creation of a problem, just so that we can craft the solution here in the city council and look like we're doing something today. And so here we are, and this is what we're going to do. And to be clear on what we're doing, we are burdening the current year's budget with, as the chair stated, $660,000. The future budgets, $1.3 million. $1.3 million. I'm just not in a place where I have learned that this city is so flush with cash that we have $1.3 million to blow, just so that, we can once again stand up all together and say how much we hate cops in this council. So I vote no today, with respect to all who sponsored this bill and who are voting in favor of it. I understand where you come from, but I can't be with you there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dharma Diaz.
Sorry, we can't hear you.
I'm sorry, I'm juggling one press conference and 2 hearings. You guys are amazing. I vote aye.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. By a vote of 6 in the affirmative, 2 in the negative, and no abstentions, the item has been adopted by the committee. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And with that, we conclude this vote.